Over the last many years and decades, we have seen some amazing car ads by different manufacturers. Some of them have been really passionate, while a lot of marketing campaigns have also been weird and they have received a lot of backlash. So in today's video, we are going to discuss some of the most weirdest car ad campaigns of all time. Number one, we have Skoda. The tagline is simply clever. What did Skoda do? I'll tell you. So many years back in Ireland, they came out with a newspaper ad in which a groom was standing over there. There was the entire lineup of Skoda cars below him, and the groom was actually weighing in all of his options. There were three ladies at the back, and the options were A, keep her, B, return her back to her father, and C, trade her in for a younger sister. This basically implied that Skoda was looking to promote their exchange and returns policy, wherein a person could sell back their Skoda car to the automaker, or maybe they could exchange their Skoda car for another Skoda vehicle. But this ad felt really sexist. Now this did not go down well with people. Skoda received a lot of backlash, and to repair some of the damage, few days later, Skoda came out with another similar ad. This time there was a bride who was weighing in all her options, and the same options were applicable as before. However, people said that the damage was already done, and finally Skoda stopped running this ad campaign. You can have a look at the campaign on the screen right now. Another quirky ad by Skoda was to showcase the dual zone climate control feature of their car, and the image which they used to showcase this feature, again you can have a look at it on the screen. I guess not the best image to showcase that feature, but again Skoda got into a lot of controversy because of this ad. At number 2, we have Fiat, who came out with a campaign which was actually about stalking women. So in 1994, Fiat came out with a very weird campaign in which they sent out personalized letters to 50,000 women in Spain. So basically the letters were addressed personally to the woman, and they had some really cheesy pickup lines written like, I saw you looking at me yesterday, I think we should spend some good time together, all of these. And the women were actually really petrified after receiving those letters because they were sent anonymously. Some of the women felt targeted, some of the women felt they were being stalked, and some women even had fights with their partners. Some even went to the cops and they stopped stepping out of home. Few days later, Fiat sent a follow-up letter to all of these women, and in that it was written that the admirer in the previous letter was no one else but the Fiat Cinquecento, which was a new car which had come back in the day. It had a very quirky and stylish design, and this was a personalized advertising technique, but it did not go down well. It was a little creepy, and Fiat eventually had to issue a public apology. In fact, a lady even took Fiat to court, and Fiat had to pay for her damages. Personally addressed ad campaigns can be quite good and tasteful, but they should be done in a classy manner and not in a creepy way. And we'll move on to the next one, which is number 3, Ford, leave your worries behind. This basically came out of Ford India, and they wanted to showcase the boot capacity of the Ford Figo, which was just about to be launched in India. The agency JWT India took the ad campaign live without approval from Ford, and this ad campaign featured 3 cartoon images of the Ford Figo with different celebrities stuffed in the boot of the Ford Figo. One of them had Paris Hilton and the Kardashians, one of them had Michael Schumacher and some of his rivals, and the third one also had an Italian Prime Minister. This did not go down well. Ford received a lot of backlash eventually, and then Ford Global had to step in and issue an apology, and the ad campaign was taken down. Another reason for the backlash apart from the ad campaign itself was the fact that India was at a scrutiny at that time for an increasing number of gang rapes, so the timing of this was also really wrong. And now we'll move on to the next, which is BMW. They had a tagline called "You're not the first." So basically BMW wanted to showcase their pre-owned car division, and they wanted to promote the used car business, which is why they came out with this tagline. But the reason for the backlash was that they used an image of a very young girl, and the tagline was, of course, "You're not the first," implying that someone else has had fun with her before, but even now you can step in and again have fun. So again, this was really sexist and received a lot of backlash from people. BMW eventually stopped running that ad. Another weird campaign from BMW was called Ultimate Attraction, in which a man is seen making love to a woman, but the face of the woman is covered with a picture of a BMW car. Now this was sexist to both the genders, and it was wrong in a lot of ways. At number 5, we have Hertz Car Rentals. Hertz is a very famous global car rental company. In 1961, yeah, that is long back, they came out with a very weird campaign in which the tagline was, "The husband will beat the wife tonight." Now, of course, this tagline had a different meaning, but people perceived it as something else, and again it did not go down well with the public. So basically Hertz wanted to portray, and they wrote it in smaller text below the main tagline, that you could rent a car from Hertz very quickly, and basically they wanted to show that the husband would reach home before the wife, basically beating her in reaching home. But again the tagline meant a little something else, and eventually they got a lot of negative publicity for this campaign. At number 6, we have Volkswagen. To showcase the toughness and the build quality of the Volkswagen Polo, an agency made a video in in which a suicide bomber drives a Volkswagen Polo to a very crowded area and then he explodes the bomb inside the car. However, the bomb explodes just inside the car and nothing can be felt outside the car. This again showcases the tough build quality of the Polo. This wasn't exactly tasteful, and Volkswagen later went on to claim that they did not commission the ad at all and the agency had made it on their own. At number 7, we have Hyundai, who had an ad about a failed suicide attempt. So basically they wanted to show that the Hyundai iX35 has very low emissions. They showed that a person goes to his garage, he shuts the garage door, he sits inside his iX35, starts the engine and then just sits over there and tries to attempt suicide by taking in all the toxic emissions, but he fails over here. He comes out alive because the car does not produce a lot of toxic emissions. Ideation behind this wasn't exactly the best and Hyundai had to issue an apology. They had to also remove the campaign from everywhere. Finally, we have Volvo. So in 2010, Volvo came out with the autonomous emergency braking feature and the obstacle detection feature. So basically they called in a bunch of journalists and they tried to showcase a driverless Volvo S60 being driven, and then the car would automatically detect a truck ahead of the car and it would apply brakes on its own. Now this demonstration eventually failed and the car crashed into the back of the truck. Volvo later claimed that this was because of a low battery power issue. Few months later, Volvo came out with their pedestrian detection system, and again they called in some people to show a demonstration of this feature, but again they failed and the car crashed. Eventually, after all of these instances, they stopped doing such demonstrations. So this was a list of some of the weirdest car ad campaigns of all time. If you think I've missed any, if you think of any other weird or bad car ad campaign, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one soon.